Welcome to Pre-Snap Podcast, presented by LineStar app. Here's your host, Casey Bubba and Scott Bogman.
And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Pre-Snap Podcast, brought to you by the wonderful people at LineStar Sports. Make sure you check them out on Twitter at LineStar app and at LineStar NFL. And more importantly, download the Apple Store, Google Play Store, everything you need in the palm of your hands to build your winning DFS lineups. Now, that's what we're going to try to do for you today. Build you your winning Turkey Day lineups. 3-game Turkey Day slate, all that fun stuff and things. You can check me out on Twitter at BDentric, and my co-host is always on Twitter at Bogman Sports. Scott Bogman, how we doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. Looking forward to this 3-game slate, even though these aren't the best of games, specifically the first one, but we're going to find something to like in each game. I'll say that.
Yeah, and I know sometimes I say, like, well, if you're feeling weird, do this. Feel weird slate to do things. I'm just going to throw that out there right now.
You're already feeling chances. Weird. Yeah.
Yeah, true. I'm always feeling weird. Look at me.
It's
you want to look, watch LineStar on YouTube.
Tim Boyle, dude. Like, you have to feel weird about that.
Does Tim Boyle get more fantasy points than he did last week? I think he had 1 point last week.
Yeah, I would say that he throws for more than 77 yards in this game.
That's good. Good to hear. Good to hear. So we'll see how that goes. You know what's crazy? Because this game's on, I believe it's on Fox. Yeah, because it's Lions and Bears. So is this the one where they do the turducken in Madden fashion?
Yeah. Yep. This is the one.
Can't wait to see who gets to share that on this game.
I mean, it's got to be a defensive player, right? I mean,
that's the first thing that pops into my head. Yes.
If you had to bet on someone in this game to get it, I'll have 3 guesses, right? It's Roquan, it's David Montgomery, and then I would say, DeAndre Swift.
DeAndre Swift.
And I just said it has to be a defensive player and pick 2 offensive players.
Well, I don't know the defensive players enough. Like, if there's a guy who gets a pick 6, that might be all it takes.
Right. I mean, Eddie Jackson is a good guy for that in Chicago, but he's been banged up this year. So I just don't expect a lot from him. So I don't know, maybe, a defensive lineman or something, but they've all been hurt for Detroit. Every defensive player has been hurt. Alex Anzalone is the only one that has stayed healthy, and it's because he sucks. So I don't know what's happening here. It's going to be an interesting game. We'll say that. Should be a close game at least.
Yeah, Bears are -3.5 on the road here with Andy Dalton most likely over under 41.5, Bogman. So let's just get in the DFS side of this thing. What are you liking in this game? Because, again, you got to get weird on the slate. You can fade the game if you want. I think the popular play on this slate is going to be the defenses. What do you like on this one?
I mean, there's not a lot to like. Even my cat doesn't like this game. He's just giving it no respect. But I think David Montgomery, you have to like at 6,750. I think that's a good price for him. DeAndre Swift at 73 and 8,000. You can like. I'm not interested in Williams or Jamal, Damian or Jamal Williams. Any of the Williamses, not interested in. Darnell Mooney's banged up. Allen Robinson's hurt. Marquise Goodwin at 38.54 could be good. But look, we saw Josh Reynolds. I mentioned him last week. He led the Lions in snaps at wideout in his first game. So didn't amount to anything. I think he had 1 catch or maybe 2 catches. He wasn't good in that game, but they're already throwing him in and having him lead this team in, snaps, probably mainly because he's a good run blocker, but they're going to have to pass the ball at some point. So I think his price of 3,000 and 4,900 is good. Look, Boyle only threw for 77 yards, and TJ Hawkinson had 51 of the receiving yards that he threw for. So I think Hawkinson could be in play, although I hate this price at 52 and 6,100. Cole Kmet has been good. Like you said, the defenses at 3,000, 5,000 for the Bears, 24 and 37 for the Lions. I think at that price, I'd rather just go with Detroit and see if they can't do anything or at least hold them to a low total. So I think that is everything I could possibly like in this game, and I did it in 2 minutes.
Yeah, good old Andy Dalton. So there's always good points in taking the defense. If you want to take the Lions to be different, you can. Wanted to bring up the numbers from this past week when it comes to Chicago target-wise. Mooney had 16 targets for almost a 49% target share this past week. But second was Goodwin with 8 targets, a 24.24% target share. He had 4 catches for 104 and a score. We talked about him on the recap show. He was in the DK optimal lineup. So if you want to be different and save some cash to pay up elsewhere, I don't hate the good one for 38 for 54. I think it's a GPP type play. And then I like your Reynolds call as well. I'll pull them up real quick. I know it's Boyle, so it makes it difficult. That's the rough part of it.
That's just a punt play, because he's 3,000 and he led them in snaps. So not saying he's going to get a bunch of targets or even, 3 catches. I would be happy with 2 at that price. Hopefully he gets in the end zone with 1.
He had 13% target share. He had 3 targets. You said Hawkinson led the way as Hawkinson, Brown, Swift, and Reynolds. He had no catches. And I think that's a lot on Boyle, to be honest. But that's just something to think about if you're looking for a freebie. Otherwise, for the most part, I would pass on this game as well. All right, the Big D, Vegas in Dallas. Cowboys are 7-point favorites with a total of 50.5, highest total on the 3 games. A lot of people love to play themselves some Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Bogman, are you going to be one of them?
I want to play Dak. I'll say that at 6,900 and 8,200 because I expect him to bounce back and look better. Kansas City really roughed him up last week. They're in his face the whole game. I think they're going to do a better job at protecting him. And you could play Zeke if you want at any point. I'm okay with that. But coming off that ankle thing, it didn't look great. I would much rather go with Pollard at 56 and 59. I think he's the better price here. I also like Josh Jacobs at 59.67. I just think that the Raiders have to establish the run to be able to throw deep, and they haven't been establishing anything in the run game. So hopefully they will wise up and give the ball more to Josh Jacobs. I mean, they gave the ball to him a ton last year and it worked. I don't know why they've all of a sudden gone to let's get the ball to Kenyon Drake and throw it to Foster Moreau and guys like that. So it's frustrating watching him, but I do like Jacobs here. As far as the wideouts go here, Bub, Gallup has to be your favorite play, right? 59 6,500.
Yep, just looking at it right now, catches last week, a lot of that game, and arms a lot. Dak was off, so he was leading his guys in some bad positions. Gallup's going to get a lot of targets, and Schultz had 8 targets, and Ced Wilson had 7. So it's going to be a heavy dose of those 3, I think.
Right. You chopped up a little bit, but we get the point. Michael Gallup was the best guy there because, look, CeeDee Lamb got his brain scrambled last week. I do not expect him to play in this game. I know they're holding out hope, but that looked bad, dude. That when his neck whipped back, like I wasn't going to be surprised if he also had a neck thing along with the concussion. So it looked bad. It's on a short rest. You don't want to mess him up. So I think he doesn't play this game. We know Cooper's missing because of COVID protocols. So Gallup has to be in play. The other guys there, Noah Brown, 3,700. Okay. I mean, I'm not into it. Obviously, Cedric Wilson is the 2 there, 35 and 5,600. But I think the true 2 is going to be Dalton Schultz at 53 and 6,000. Yep. So I think I like him better. But if I'm going to pay up for a tight end, you might as well just, pay for Darren Waller at 64 and 7,300 because he's the only consistent guy the last 2 weeks for the Raiders. I know a lot of us love Hunter Renfrow. I love Hunter Renfrow. But this price, 56 and 62, I'm not paying it. I can't do it. I'd rather pay a cheaper price for Cedric Wilson and hope that he leads them. Brian Edwards hasn't done anything. Deshaun Jackson has done nothing except fumble. Zay Jones, I don't know what the hell's going on with him. So I think that my favorite plays here are Dak, Pollard, Gallup, and Waller. I think those are my favorite. I don't want to play either defense because I don't trust them. Schultz can be played here, but I think I'll just take the savings and play Waller.
Yeah, I was saying when it broke up, Gallup had 10 targets, Schultz 8, Ced Wilson 7. So that was the main guys last week. And in the years previous to this Thanksgiving days, 2 tight end lineups have been winning the money. So if you want to play a Waller or Schultz, that's how you get different. You get different right there by doing stuff like that. So I can see the angle. Everyone's going to want to play Dak. You can play Carr if you want. I prefer Dak, but Carr would be a way to be different as well. If you think this game goes back and forth enough to be relevant.
Yeah, I think I said take the savings, but I'm just going to what I meant was eat the money and play Waller over Schultz.
Yeah, he's the man. Like he was back in Waller fashion last week. It was fun to watch him get the heavy workload. Yeah. 8 targets, 7 catches.
Oh, okay. The week before it was 11 targets. My bad.
Yeah. Jake had targets for 5 catches. So that was a lot of late action there. So a couple options there. But I love Tony Pollard as well. Zeke had 9 carries last week. Pollard had 7. They each had a red zone carry as well. I think you get that nice savings there. He'll be using the passing game. If for some reason Dallas breaks away in this one, You're going to a lot of Pollard because Zeke's still a little banged up. So I think Pollard's a phenomenal play to save some cash. But I like the Jacobs price tag as well. You mentioned it, 59 on DK, 67 on FanDuel. So I think that's another good play. Lots of ways to go in this game. Not too many expensive plays because there's a lot of backups. So that makes it really intriguing to stack this one up. The last thing I'll mention, and I saw some people typing it the other day, like if we go back just like the last 3 weeks for Vegas per se, and you look at overall targets here, it's the main dogs, but Zay Jones is still at 3 targets per game. Just gonna throw that out there. So if you want like a massive Hail Mary, he's 3K and 49. So like how we talked about Josh Reynolds, Zay Jones has that appeal as well. He's getting.
I was just about to say that it's about the same. You just pick,
better environment to play in.
Look, and a better quarterback too. So maybe go with Zay Jones over Josh Reynolds. Just because he's going to have a better quarterback than Tim Boyle throwing him the ball. So
bingo. Let's head to the nightcap here. Bills at Saints when you're on your turkey sandwich, taking your second nap of the day. Bills -4 on the road, over under 46.5. Probably no Kamara. Simeon's a little banged up. Trautman's gone. What are we doing, Boggs?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to pay up and play Josh, I get it. We expect him to bounce back, right, Bub? I mean, come on. He's still Josh Allen. So you can play him. I'm not interested in playing Simeon, even at that price. Decent price, but Bill's secondary is the best unit on their team. So I don't really want to play Simeon, especially after it took him a whole half to get going last week. Although I do expect him to be down and playing catch up in this game. No Kamara. I'm not touching any Bills running back ever. So I think I'll be like that until the end of the year, until they give somebody 20 carries. If they give somebody 20 carries one game, I'll go to that guy. But until that happens, you know what? I'll even set the bar lower. 15. Give somebody 15 carries on this team. I don't think they're going to do it, so I'm done with them. Mark Ingram, I love here at 62 and 6,600. You mentioned it on the last show we did, Bub, about how he just gets targets because they have nobody else. It's Traquan. They threw a touchdown on Lil Jordan Humphrey last week. Troutman even got hurt, who was a go-to guy. So don't love the options there, but I do love Mark Ingram. Stephon Diggs, you can pay up for, absolutely. It's tough to pick between Sanders and Beasley because they keep eating into each other. So it's not a situation I really want to mess with too much. Deontay Harris was getting a ton of targets until last week with Simeon. Marquez Callaway has been getting in the end zone, so I think I'd rather go with Callaway over Harris. But Traquan is probably your best wide receiver option for the Saints at 44 and 5,900. Good price. Also led them in targets along with Troutman and Ingram last week. You can play Dawson Knox 4,400 and 5,900. Love that price on him. And Nick Vanette was finally healthy and played a decent amount of snaps before Troutman got hurt. So I'd expect him to be in there blocking a lot at 25 and 4,200 and maybe get some targets as well. So I like him as a sneaky tight end play. If you're not going to pay up for Knox, for Schultz, for Waller, any of those guys, I like Vanette as a punt play. And Bills defense, if you're feeling like maybe they can bounce back at 31 and 45, I think could be a decent play too.
Yeah, this is an interesting one because a lot of people play the early action so they can watch it. They don't know if they'll be up late, so you might get some ownership here, or they just go all to the Bills, and that could be part of it too. So Josh Allen should bounce back, sure. Honestly, if I knew Simeon was going to play the whole game and you want to be really contrarian, I don't hate it just because they're going to be playing from behind. He's going to put the garbage time points up. So I see some appeal to that. If no Kamara, I do like Ingram a lot. He said he tied with Troutman and Traquan in targets this past week. He's been basically at the top of targets for 3 straight weeks now. Ingram's been a beast back there, so I love that call. You can go with the Diggs and Sanders if you want. Diggs keeps getting forced. I love Dawson Knox. He led the team with 10 targets last week. But I did want to mention, I think Traquan Smith's amazing. Like Callaway is a good go for the end zone, but Smith 44 and 59, 8 targets this past week. He's the leading receiver getting targets the last 3 weeks outside of Troutman and running backs because they're not receivers. So he's leading the way there. He's getting tons of targets with Simeon. There's a rapport there. So I think he's a very good play. I like the Nick Vanette value call. The one contrarian play I'll mention, if you want to just go for broke, we saw it last week with the Texans and some others, Saints defense, if you want to get really weird. If you think the Bills are still broken on the small slate, maybe get a few sacks, maybe
they put up some duds, dude. So I like that call.
And you can still give up points as long as you get a couple sacks and a turnover or two. That's all it takes. At $2,900, no one's in the roster the Saints defense. Just gonna throw that one out there if you want to get really different while everyone rosters Buffalo. All right, Bogman, let's just do a quick recap here. Who would be your favorite quarterback on the slate?
It's Dak for me, 100%. Got to go with Dak.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Dak too. It's going to be the chalk play, but I'm going to go with Dak as well. Who is your favorite running back on this slate?
I like Montgomery and Swift are my 1-2, and then Jacobs is my 3. I also like Pollard.
Yes, so I think Pollard. I'm going to go with Jacobs and Ingram if Kamara's out. I'll just specify that now. Ingram if Kamara's out. And then wide receiver, who are a couple guys you like there?
Diggs is my favorite. I like Gallup, like we mentioned before, and I like a punt play, whether it's Reynolds or Zay Jones. I like both of those punt plays.
Yeah, I like the Zay Jones punt a lot. I'm going to go with Gallup and Traquan as my top 2 with the Zay punt. That's kind of where I'd be leaning on those ones. And then who's your top tight end?
Waller for expensive, Vanette to punt.
Yeah, I'm going to go Schultz. That'll be my dude. I know he's probably be popular. Waller's probably the better pay up spot because I don't think many will pay up. So I think it's a good call. That's why I kind of like the idea of going Waller and Schultz or Waller and Knox or something and mixing the two together. But definitely some fun ways to go in that one. All right, Bogman. Well, that'll wrap us up. We are going to have a competition. I just ducked out and said I'm going to build my lineup later. Bog's already built his because there's so many injury things in the air. Like if there's no Kamara, I'm playing Ingram. If there's Kamara, I'm not playing Ingram. If CeeDee Lamb plays, that changes the whole landscape there.
Of course.
There's a lot of weird things to be done. So
absolutely.
We want to get this out for you guys to consume it for a couple days. So if you have any questions, download the app. In the Apple App Store, the Google Play Store, there's a chat room there, all kinds of stuff there. Or just hit us up on Twitter, whatever you prefer. Bogman's at Bogman Sports. I'm at BDentric. It'll be a fun turkey day on Wednesday, as usual. You'll get your picks and bet show for the rest of the week. You'll have your DFS preview coming out as well. All kinds of fun stuff coming for you here at LineStar Sports and the Pre-Snap Podcast. But for now, enjoy your Thanksgiving, everybody. Have a good one. Catch you later.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to Pre-Snap Podcast, presented by LineStar app. Please like, comment, subscribe, and rate for good karma in your fantasy football